In this video, I want to show you that I'm working on the turtle shell drawing in ink stippling, and I'm using Pelikan Sepia drawing ink that happens to be vintage. I can't find the sepia that's available now, but they do still make black. And what the drawing has now is a series of polka dots. And you're looking at it upside down. The camera is behind where I'm working. But you can see that each of those is a series of polka dots. Now with beginning stippling, what you're really doing is a rendering, a scientific or an accurate rendering, and not so much a painting or an art-inspired drawing. Now I want to show you, I found, I had ordered some glass pens just so I had some extra glass pens, and when they showed up I hadn't read the description completely. They're only 4 inches long, which is wonderful actually, because of their smaller size. The tip, the point, the nib, is just a little bit tinier than the full-size pens. So a couple of them though, what I'm afraid of is I don't want to get a blob on here. So these just got here today, and I haven't really worked with them as far as how full the nib has to be. And that's the whole thing with using glass pens. Now there's, I would think, too much ink on there. So I'm going to work with these a little bit more to find out what they do. Now this is the pen I've done most of it with, which it might be a J. Herbin pen. I don't know. I bought it about 15 or 20 years ago. It's a beautiful glass pen. It also has a fine nib, but I'm used to doing these types of drawings with a 6/0 nib. And these are equal, all the glass pens so far are equal to about a 3/0 nib. So I'm adjusting to that difference in the size of the nib. The huge advantage though with glass pens is that you can use any ink. So I have my general tone of polka dots. And now what you do, you let it dry for a while so that you're not smudging anything. But then you go back in and build up your darks by just adding more dots. And this is different from when you're working in graphite. Even though you're building up tone and shadow, you're still going to see polka dots when you do it this way. You're never going to get that smooth look of a graphite drawing. And like I said, if I were doing, if I wanted to, I could make each dot equally distant and then be adding layers as I go of equally distant dots. I tend to just be a little bit more casual and fill them in as I see, you know, the shadow. But you can see from the distance you see the drawing now, I'm getting the same tonal buildup as a pencil drawing. It's just that when you look at it close up, it's all polka dots. And again, this is as if I were using a 3/0 pen when I'm using glass pens. Now, I have the overall tone, but for example, this side of the inner shell is in more shadow, so I then go in and add dots in between the other dots. It's a very time-consuming method, but if you look at those two sections, this one and this one, already you can tell there's shadow on one side and not on the other. So that's how you go ahead and you build up your tone on any kind of a drawing, but this one is the turtle shell bone. And I'll probably post another video about it when I have this done. I tend to be a little bit picky, where I'll work on this for a while because I know what I'm seeing in the shell and I want to get that effect. If I overwork it, I'll start over again. But I just wanted to point out that even on this area, which is all beige, you need a generalized tone in order to add the shadows.